Hello, ladies, and welcome to another edition of Menopause Made Easy. I'm on a change of location site, so if you hear children or dogs barking, I'm sitting outside soaking in the rays, which is a perfect way for me to be doing this podcast because I'm talking today about melatonin, vitamin D, and circadian intelligence and why supplements aren't the whole story. Because for most of our life, everybody, we did not have melatonin supplements or vitamin D, which is actually a hormone supplement. So I want to share with you some interesting things today. All right. Today I want to clear up a lot of confusion around melatonin and vitamin D because most women are told take vitamin D and take melatonin, but very few are taught how the body actually makes it itself and then uses these hormones naturally, or why simply supplementing often doesn't work long term. And oh my gosh, you know what? I'm just going to stay focused here and then maybe my story interjects as we go along. So, this episode is about circadian intelligence, not pill taking. And like I've done so many episodes on light and circadian rhythm, our bodies are light beings, and I wanted to get these episodes up and running now because spring is the perfect time to start tapping into this, which will be one of my next episodes as well about how you can start to work with the season of spring. So, as I said, pill taking is pretty new. For most of our lives, we have been circadianly, or we have been working with the rhythms of nature. And, I don't know exactly how long, maybe the last 70 years, we have really detached ourselves, and it's just getting more and more and more. So I wanted to come in here and educate us today. What is melatonin? Melatonin is often called the sleep hormone, but that's only part of the story. So you see melatonin supplements, you're told to take them before bed, that they will help you sleep. But melatonin is also a master antioxidant, a mitochondrial protector. Remember, mitochondria are the powerhouses of your cells, and a timing hormone that tells your body when to repair, regenerate, and rest. Melatonin doesn't just help you fall asleep, it helps your cells heal overnight. And here's the key: melatonin is not primarily meant to come from a pill. Okay, it is meant to be made inside your body in rhythm with light and darkness. Okay, so how do we produce melatonin naturally? Melatonin production starts first thing in the morning, not at night. So your night's sleep starts in the morning. It works because you get the morning sunlight that hits your eyes and your skin. So take your glasses off. All right. That light that you see sets your circadian clock. So every cell in our body has a clock. And then your body produces serotonin during the day. And then this serotonin, which is a hormone, converts into melatonin at night. And no morning light equals poor melatonin later. And too much artificial light at night equals melatonin suppression. All right. So this is why, listen, only in the last, I don't know, decade have we had way more light than we've been used to. Our light bulbs went from incandescent to more blue light because they were energy efficient. Our windows went where they used to let in some nice rays. Now they don't. That helps to keep our houses warmer or cooler in the summer. So again, energy efficiency, which is all great things, but it is impacting how we are seeing light. Once upon a time, I would, wake up, look at my phone, not even care to go outside for hours. So I was totally oblivious to this information that I am sharing with you. But in the last couple of years, I have dug deep And oh my gosh, there is just no way I could ever go back to my old habits because this is just, I get it. It's so beneficial. And that's why I'm sharing again yet another episode, everybody, on circadian rhythm and tapping deeper specifically into vitamin D, which is actually a hormone, and melatonin. Okay, so this too much artificial light at night equals melatonin suppression, which is like the late night scrolling, the bright overhead lights, TV before bed. And again, I know you might have done these things 50 years ago, 30 years ago, but our TVs have way more LED. Now, it's not just TVs, it's screens all day. So it's just this added accumulation of how differently we are living from 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. So it's not differently from last week, but if you look, we've been a frog in a very, in a pot of boiling or in a cup of, let me start again. We've been a frog in a pot that has water in it that has been slowly increasing. We don't even notice sometimes the changes unless we really go back and think about what did I used to do before phones and screens and so much TV in every room and how it's so bright and stuff like that. So okay. But doing these things can completely block melatonin, even if you're exhausted. So, melatonin is a darkness hormone, but it depends on daylight first. Okay. So, I hope I've made that abundantly clear. And so, what's the relationship between vitamin D and melatonin? And this is where it gets really interesting because vitamin D and melatonin are like a yin and a yang. Vitamin D is associated with daylight, melatonin is associated with darkness, and they are meant to rise and fall opposite each other. So when we're in sun exposure, which I'm taping this in January, and I'm not in Ontario right now, but if I was, there is no UVB rays at all right now. So you are not getting vitamin D. And this is why come March, when we start to around the springtime get some UVB back into the day, is a really important time to start learning how to use the natural rhythms of the outside world to help us synthesize and bring vitamin D in, which I'm going to get to in a minute, into our body to store it. Because remember, once upon a time, we didn't have a pill. We used the summer to store the vitamin D to get us through the winter. Okay, so the vitamin D and melatonin are meant to rise and fall opposite each other. Sun exposure, having that UVB, increases vitamin D and programs your brain to release melatonin later. And if you have low vitamin D, this can often correlate with poor sleep, anxiety, immune issues, mood challenges. But here's the missing piece. Vitamin D is not just a nutrient, it's a hormone signal tied to light exposure. The different types of vitamin D and what blood tests measure. So again, this is something that's really important. And this is where, listen, I had no idea until I dug further into this, and there's a lot of confusion. But there are different forms of vitamin D in the body. There's stored vitamin D, which is fat soluble, long-term reserves, which you build in the summer, which will take you through the winter. Now, it could take you a couple of seasons to really get your body activated again. So I'm not saying not to take vitamin D supplements, but I really want you to understand that before vitamin D supplements, what did we do? We used the power of the sun. The sun is not evil, by the way. I could go into that. Look up the work of Jack Kruse. He has some amazing posts. Anyway, I'll just leave my sun comments at that. I have done an episode and I will continue to do more at different times. But then we also have circulating vitamin D, which is what most blood tests measure. And there's also different types of vitamin D. but I'm not going to get into that because I have to do a little more research. So just know for right now, there's a stored vitamin D and there's a circulating vitamin D, and that the blood test measures your circulating vitamin D. And most standard blood tests, like I mentioned, measure this vitamin D, circulating vitamin D, not necessarily how well your body stores vitamin D, activates vitamin D, or uses vitamin D at the cellular level. So you can have normal blood tests, but still have poor vitamin D signaling, especially if your circadian rhythm is off, your magnesium is low, your liver and kidneys are stressed out, and you aren't getting real sunlight exposure with your skin and your eyes seeing not, and I shouldn't say sunlight, but just daylight, because it can be cloudy, can even be rainy, but you can still have benefits from being outside. So what about vitamin D supplements, K2 and magnesium? Okay, if someone does supplement with vitamin D, it should never be taken alone, because vitamin D works with magnesium, which helps to activate vitamin D, and vitamin K2, which directs calcium into your bones, not your arteries. And so without magnesium, so most of us are deficient in magnesium, unfortunately, because we are lacking the minerals in our soil that we used to have. They are depleted. So unless you are doing some kind of mineral conscious taking every day, so hopefully you are. I know people in that work with me do, because they understand the importance of minerals. So make sure you're doing a balanced mineral intake program. Okay, because if you don't have magnesium, vitamin D cannot properly activate. And if you don't have K2, calcium may end up in the wrong places. And then here's the bigger truth. Even the perfect supplement stack cannot replace a dysfunctional circadian system. Just a sec, I need water. Okay, so even if you're taking all the supplements in the world, but you're not getting outside, you're not respecting light and darkness, you're watching your screens too much, you're still not going to be fully benefiting. Okay. And why is just taking vitamin D not the answer? Right. So again, I know a lot of people don't want to do the work, and it's easy to pop pills, but you need the right environment. You cannot supplement your way out of poor light exposure, disrupted sleep-wake cycles, chronic stress, indoor living, blue light overhead. So again, getting the basics first before you open your wallet to all the thousands of supplements that are out there. Okay, I recommend a few, and I have brands because supplements are not created equally. If you want that link, I'll try to remember to put it in the show notes. But I also have a blog post on it, or you can contact me and I will give you the list of reputable brands that I use. Okay, so vitamin D and melatonin are signals. They're not just substances. And if the underlying system is broken, the signal doesn't land, the hormone doesn't work properly, and the body stays confused. And this is why some women keep increasing doses, but still don't feel better. And the deeper solution, which I've been talking about for the last 2 years, is your circadian biology. The real solution is restoring the rhythm. So ask yourself, if you have been listening to my podcast, are you still not creating a morning routine, or have you created a morning routine to get out and see the sunlight on your eyes and your skin? So there's a difference between the sunrise and the UVA rise. So do you know the times of those events? Are you dimming the lights after sunset? Are you consistently keeping up with your sleep and wake times, 7 days a week, being pretty consistent? Are you eating magnesium-rich foods? Are you doing nervous system regulation work? I've just done an episode called Be Better at Doing Nothing. It's a great one to do, to listen to. Okay. Are you honoring darkness at night? And I will tell you, I think this has been the hardest one for me because it gets dark so early. And if you've listened to some of my episodes, it seems like my husband is turning on every single light that he never used to turn on just because he knows that I'm trying to. I don't think he's being mean spirited. I think it's something else. But anyway, so I did get some red light blocking glasses, which has been helpful, but it's also, I have to tell you, it can be super annoying wearing double glasses because sometimes I need glasses on to read. And I have changed some of the light bulbs out in my house, so it's a little dimmer. So there's definitely challenges, but what I know deeply is that when it gets to be that dark and it's hard to see, I should just go to bed. And I will be honest with you that there are nights where I'm like, I'm tired. I should just go to bed, but I feel like I should read. Um, and so sometimes I do go to bed. Sometimes I still catch myself reading. My TV habits have changed. I don't watch near the television I used to watch at night, just because, just really, again, trying to respect that. But I'm also trying not to be um, insanely rigid. So I am trying to flow. And this is why it takes me a couple of years to really find my flow. And I will tell you that spring, summer, and fall seem much easier than the winter. So it's always great to do a full cycle. And then when you start again the next year, you can work on the things that you couldn't quite get to the year before. So, anyway, that is what I have been doing. So when we tap into the rhythm, when we tap into this right rhythm, what happens is that melatonin rises naturally, vitamin D is used efficiently, and hormones communicate clearly, and mitochondria recharge, and sleep deepens without forcing it. And the reason I wanted to do this episode was twofold. Is last year, I really, which I'm going to share with you in upcoming episodes, really started to tap into my light cycle of getting up and seeing the sunrise, the UVA rise, doing some work during the UVB. And when I went and had my blood work done, I think it was in just late December, and I was not taking vitamin D supplements at all during any of this time. My doctor was like, wow, you have really good vitamin D. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to research into this. And this is the result of that I'm sharing with you, where I was like, okay, I get it. We're in the summer. 100 years ago, there was no vitamin D. How did we have vitamin D? Oh, we got it because we were outside. We were grounding. We spent more time in nature. There were no screens. We went to bed at dark, blah, 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 blah. And then, how can we now work in this world without being a hermit or rigid, right? And so that's what I have been working on for the last couple of years is finding my flow. So this is your reminder that your body is not broken. It's just out of rhythm. And I can absolutely tell you my body was out of rhythm. And it's the rhythm, not the supplements, that is going to be your foundation of healing. And oh boy, do I have some great episodes coming up on that, or I might stick them in earlier on some. I've been working on this for the last little while. You've heard me talk about light, but now I'm getting into phototherapy and using your own light to heal yourself. So I'm going to have a guest come on and we're going to dive deeper into that. And it's fascinating, and it's going to require you to have a little bit of a paradigm shift, but it's also going back to, shall I say, our roots, our circadian rhythm, understanding our circadian biology, how to work with light, how to work with our own healing properties in our body. All right. So we want to get back into rhythm. That is the foundation of our healing. And if this episode resonated, share it with a woman who's been told, just take vitamin D, just take melatonin. Here's another pill. Um, you know, just clearing up some confusion about what exactly is melatonin, what is vitamin D, and how can we work with nature and circadian rhythms to get back into sync. All right, because as I let you know, it is deeper than just taking a pill and far more empowering when we can take healing into our own hands. So thank you for listening, ladies. And again, if you need further support, I offer private sessions that you and I can work on your plan, your diet, your movement, your circadian rhythm with your life, right? So it's not a cookie cutter approach. It's really focusing on how to make it work for you. If you would like that, you can reach me at Tanya, Tanya, at moveyourbody.ca. And I will catch you in the next episode. Thanks again for sharing your time with me and listening. Bye.